exclusively revealed to you now is that the Monkees are back for the first time in 30 years altogether. They're doing a UK tour starting this March, and they're here with me now. So, hello and welcome.
Thank you.
Davey, Nicky, Mike, and Peter.
Hi, we're the Monkees. We're here to...
Now, why have you left it so long? Mike, you were reported as not wanting to get back to the Monkees for a long, long time. Why did you chosen 1997?
First of all, that was wrong. I mean, it may have been reported, but it was reported incorrectly, so go figure, the press got something wrong. But you know, as you get older and your perspectives change and you see things differently, you know, you start to think, No Doubt sounds a little bit like Rush, and Melissa Etheridge sounds more and more like Meatloaf, and Paul McCartney starts to look like Angela Lansbury, and Steven Seagal looks like Lou Costello. And you think, what are the Monkees like? And I thought, you know, they're really just not like anything. Singularity. It's a lot of fun. So then I called up Mickey and Peter, and said, let's go play.
And you got back this summer and recorded an album. And why are you starting your tour in Britain?
They made us an offer.
Yeah, I guess they made us an offer, yeah.
Live music, yeah.
Now, it has been said that you were the world's first manufactured band, Ersatz band. Do you think that's unfair, Mickey?
Well, it's just incorrect. The Monkees was a TV show about a band. So the Monkees, to my mind, is more like theater, more like a Western musical. When we get back together, it's like a cast of a show getting back together. So, I mean, that's just incorrect, not unfair.
Why were you chosen for the roles?
You have to ask the producers that.
Davey?
But I'm sure glad they chose me.
How are you auditioned?
Well, they had the standard sort of screen test, and they auditioned, I think, something like 450 people, and they just wanted. They wanted individuals, you know, people that were completely different, and.
You were a child star, weren't you? And you were from Manchester.
I was an actor on Broadway and in the West End, and as Mickey was, he had his own series, and they just wanted guys that could improvise and they were told.
But you were meant to be America's answer to the Beatles. Peter, do you think that was reasonable?
Reasonable? No. Yes, maybe. Kind of, sort of, but not at all. Although entirely.
But the fresh-faced, innocent, you know...
yeah, fresh-faced, that was me. In fact, I had to go to school to remove all my old cynicism. I had to have a cynicism-rectomy to get back to this fresh-faced, youthful, glowing, naive, charming self that you...
But were you always this innocent, Mike? I mean, did you really live the life of the Monkees at home as you did on screen? Were you all innocent, fun-loving guys?
Yeah, actually, the four of us were living together, and I had made this incredible car called a Monkey-mobile. And then we started dressing alike, and I one morning I said, wow, you know, we ought to form a band. We're all living together, and do any of you guys play? And they said, yeah, it was fine. Some of us said yes, and some of us said no. But
what advice would you have, Mickey, for teen bands today? You know, the all-boy bands, the kind of Boyzone, Take That.
Get a good lawyer.
But what do you think? I mean, what do you think the sort of secret is?
There isn't a secret. There's no secret, there's no formula. A lot of it's just serendipitous, you know, and you just got to take a shot. If there was a formula, you know, everybody would be doing it every day successfully. There just isn't.
But people have tried to redo the Monkees formula.
Exactly.
Spielberg was going to make a film.
Well, we've heard that. People have tried. That's the point. Mickey's point is, if there were a formula, they wouldn't be trying, they'd be doing. There'd be 5 or 6 a year, you know, and they'd all be wonderfully successful. But, you know...
We don't know what happened. You know, it's lightning struck.
What do you think your charm was?
I just think we were at the right time. We were different, we were innovative, and we cooperated with each other and with the production, and we went worldwide. The show went to about 36 countries around the world. We sold millions of records. We did hundreds and hundreds of concerts with just the four of us playing on the stage.
So the rumour about the fact that you couldn't play or instruments is not really a... It is a rumour.
The truth was that they didn't want us to play. We actually could play, and we did a couple of hundred concerts. We weren't the greatest band in the world. In fact, when we played the national anthem, people from every country stood up. But, you know, that didn't matter.
But you You're going to be playing now, though, on your
Absolutely.
tour. I mean, you know.
No, actually, Patsy Kinsett is going to play all of our instruments backstage.
But your records, you had
I'm not
3
touching
number
that
ones, you sold millions of singles, albums, and people, you know, the sort of 20th century was saying, oh, this isn't sort of proper music. But now, but now, it's sort of, you know, you've reached enormous critical acclaim. Do you feel
Yeah?
kind of quite, yeah,
Well, should we regard ourselves as being any more justified when people who are, you know, sort of only dodgy at best are praising us than when they were panning us? I mean, which ones are we supposed to believe? It was a loopy notion to begin with that we weren't, that somebody was running around crying with genuine alarm. The Monkees aren't a band. No, it's a television show about a band. So
How do you feel when you see
It's not the
repeats?
cognoscenti, it's the ignoranti.
right.
How do we
So
feel
how do you
about
feel when you see repeats of the show?
Oh, it's funny. I think sometimes, you know, sometimes I go, I did that, I said that, you know, and try to recall it.
It's great. It made the Monkees made a lot of people happy.
When I see the show by myself, it's one thing, but when I see it, I watched it with my brother and his children, and watching it through their eyes, it was wonderful. It was so lively, and
Good, yeah,
you know, that's
yeah.
about watching it myself. I'm critical
Well,
of it. So
thank
what did
you.
I do, and how was that? And I was, thank you. All right,
Well,
I can take a
thank
hint.
you, thank you, guys. It's groovy to meet you. And it's back to the studio with Juliet.
Oh, it's great to see them again. They certainly made me happy. Now, let's